Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Curbside Podcast. I'm your host, Jay Kirby, along as always, my lovely co-host, Britt.
Hi, guys. Oh, do we have something fun planned for tonight?
Yes, we do.
So, as you've probably heard us talking about on Twitter for the last week, our theme for tonight are some of our favorite couples. Couples we love and couples we hate, and those we kind of feel meh about. Like, why?
So tonight, we will be going over, some of my favorites, some of Britt's favorites, and some ones that we may disagree on.
Or you may disagree with us.
Yes. But if you disagree with us, or if we missed someone on the list, please comment on the video, like and subscribe, and follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, that honestly, between the two of us, we probably check the comments at least, I don't know,
10 times an hour?
That might just be you. Because fortunately and unfortunately for me, I am starting a new job as of Monday. So that means I will not be I won't be as active as I usually am, but I'm still going to be around. So just because I'm not above ground tormenting your nightmares, I'm just below the surface in the sewers.
On that note, I will be even more active on Twitter and our Facebook page because this week I'm having surgery.
Oh no.
I tore my ACL and I'm having surgery to get it fixed. I will be out of in-ring wrestling, of actually going to my Clark Kent job, as Bob Evans once coined it, for quite some time. So I will be at home via prescription, but it will be heavily medicated. So I will have nothing to do but peruse your comments, your tweets, your retweets, and even your DMs if you want to send us a message and not have the entire world see what you had to say.
You're actually opening our DMs?
Of course I'm opening our DMs. How else are we going to get people to slide into them?
I just drag them into the sewer and bite their arm off.
And how well does that work to get us new followers?
It doesn't.
Exactly. Also,
you always have to ruin my fun.
We have nothing to do with the small child that went missing because his arm was bitten off. Let me rephrase that. I have nothing to do with the small child that went missing with his arm bitten off.
Guilty by association, Jay.
Stephen King, help me.
Nope. Even the king can't help you now. So, but anyway, on that note, while Jay is recovering from his surgery, I will be taking the reins for the Curbside Podcast. Nothing too over the top. It's just going to be a couple little highlight episodes, just touching base with everyone, at least until Jay becomes a little bit more with it.
Sober is the right word.
Yeah.
Because I will definitely be inebriated.
God, you're such a pansy.
I'm not saying I'm looking forward to it or anything like that. I'm just saying that's probably what's going to happen. Sorry, we can't all have mystical Stephen King powers that make us immune to surgeries. Or Wolverine healing factors. Sadly, he's not on this list today.
Yeah, that is pretty sad. But Hey, again, as we said, if there's somebody, that we don't cover, please feel free to kind of let us know. We always like to hear from you guys. Isn't that right, Jay?
Most definitely. But,
Well,
after you, Adam, please.
you first, good sir.
I was going to say, since we're on the topic of creepy Stephen King, sharp objects, and possible death, let's start off with our first good couple, Morticia and Gomez Adams.
Yay! Oh my gosh. All I can say when I think of Morticia and Gomez passion, that's like you can just see it in just all of their incarnations, just the amount of love that he has for her. And it's like, it's so nice to see like these two opposites in a sense, because you look at Morticia, she has her own like very sophisticated, subdued manner, and then you have Gomez, who's so over the top and just loud, larger than life in a sense.
Well, great example. There's a scene in the Addams Family movie where Morticia is being basically tortured. She's been tied to this plank thing.
Oh, the stretcher.
They strap her down and stretch her, and she goes, "Ooh, you've done this before." And then he comes bursting through the door going, "Ha ha!" You're like, wow, that tone just changed really fast.
Excuse me.
I only wish Gomez Adams was my spirit animal.
Aw, Jay, are you trying to tell us something?
Yes, I have deep, deep respect for the actor who played him. And I always botch his name, so that's why I'm looking it up right now, so I do not insult him or his memory on my podcast, because that is the last thing that I want to do.
And I feel bad because I never really got the opportunity to watch the TV show. I did, again, I grew up with the movies in the same way that you have, so I can relate to Angelica Houston being Morticia Adams.
Mm-hmm. And I looked it up. Raul Julia is Gomez Adams, or as some of my fans would know him as Bison from Street Fighter. Of course.
Was that really him?
Yes. He only did that movie because his kids were fans of the video game, and he knew he was sick at the time and wanted to give them something fun to remember him by. That was the cheesiest, most over-the-top, just uncontrolled acting I've ever seen in my life. And it saved all the scenes that he was in. Everything else in that movie was terrible. But he is the most memorable part of that movie, thank goodness.
And that's absolutely wonderful that he did it in memory, like for his kids to have just that wonderful memory of him.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Whew. So we go from a little crazy and over the top to maybe something a little more subtle. I'm not too sure about this movie. I might actually have to let you lead in on this one because I know it's one of I think I know because it's one of your favorites. Wesley and the Princess from The Princess Bride.
Oh, I didn't know you were going to hit me with that one.
Hey, you got to start early.
Right in the chest. Oh, right in the feels. But if I must continue forward, then as you wish. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I believe we're experiencing some technical difficulties. There she is.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks. What do you want?
Apparently, we got the Kirkland brand ones. Alrighty. Sorry, folks, again for a small technical difficulty. No worries. But Wesley, a.k.a. the Dread Pirate Roberts, and Princess Buttercup.
I knew it. I knew that was her name.
Oh, well, if that's who you really want to talk about, then as you wish.
Why not? You seem to know them pretty well.
Oh, The Princess Bride is easily one of the greatest movies of all time and has easily one of the best romances of all time. Wesley, a man who ships off and is captured by pirates, basically fights his way back to the love of his life. She, who has been forced into an arranged marriage, still has feelings for him, even though she thinks he's dead. And the lengths that he goes through in this movie just to save her and just for them to be together is ridiculous. Like so as you all know, the first episode of the podcast I revealed that I had a girlfriend. And I love her to death. But I don't know if I could fight Andre the Giant to save her. I would try, and I'd probably get my head squished. I definitely couldn't fight Inigo Montoya in a duel of swordsmanship.
And you've killed my father. Prepare to die.
Now, luckily, I would only be mostly dead, not completely dead, if I were to do those two features. Also, Wesley is mostly dead in this movie. He almost dies completely.
I would ask how you could be almost dead, but then again, I remembered who I am, so.
So the fact that he goes through all of this, being almost killed, fights a giant, fights the greatest swordsman ever, battles a Sicilian when death is on the line, an army of men, a six-fingered man, rodents of unusual size, and that's probably a misquote, and I apologize, everybody. But just the lengths he goes to be with her is amazing. And the fact that after all these years and all of these, I guess, death fake outs that she has endured, she still loved him.
That's pretty awesome.
That is amazing.
I'm down for that. I'm down for love forever. However, like, I'm only down for, like, when it makes sense. Well, I guess in a way it's like the happy ever afters we always hear about in the fairy tales. You know, princess finds her white knight in shining armor, live happily ever after, the end.
Right.
And that's actually going to make for a very good segue into my next couple.
Oh.
Yes, and they're a little bit more peculiar, but I didn't care because I love these two.
Okay.
I'm going with Princess Fiona and Shrek from the Shrek movies.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the first Shrek movie, I can watch it. Watching it now, it's still kind of funny, but I don't get as humored by it as I used to. But when it first came out, I couldn't stop howling.
See, I'm the opposite. I've found it to be actually even funnier the older I get, because I can catch subtle things. Like when I was a kid, I didn't realize the frozen in midair split kick was from The Matrix.
Yep.
I just thought they were being like a cool action movie. I didn't know it was
clever.
a shot at The Matrix. Exactly.
Yep.
Or I didn't know any of the wrestling moves that Shrek uses to beat up the knights, and now I can name all of them.
We might have to do that one night, just so you know. as part of
Yes.
the podcast.
Yes, we will definitely watch her. But I enjoy their relationship because she, on more than one occasion, accepts him for what he is, which is, as he has stated over and over in loud, roaring growls, I'm an ogre. Ah.
Absolutely. And
And I apologize for the terrible donkey impression, but Shrek is an ogre, and
yeah,
she accepts him for the large, green, kind of nasty creature that he is.
well, to be honest, the reason why I like them so much is because it feels like such an equal relationship. Because there were occasions like where she has stepped up to try to save him, or she's had
Mm-hmm.
to help. She wasn't the damsel in distress so much as you see with other princesses.
We could make a whole list of damsels in distresses.
Yeah, that's gonna be another Disney episode. Or I mean,
Uh,
that's gonna be another podcast episode.
Agreed. But the fact that, she accepts him and he, while yes, she is beautiful in the movie and then turns out to be an ogre, blah, blah, blah. But the fact that he is attracted to less of her beauty and more her personality in the first movie, like, really speaks for their relationship. That it's not all just, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. How could she ever love me? And then she's
Well,
like, oh, I'm so beautiful. I don't deserve an ugly ogre.
that's what I actually liked because if you remember in the first movie, it they actually did not like each other at all.
Oh, no. No, when they met each other, they hated each other. And that just proves, like, how much they can grow together.
Yeah, for me that solidified it.
And not
Um,
only that, but just diving into the second movie, and even a little bit in the third movie, the lengths he goes to make her happy
mm-hmm.
and to treat her how he thinks she should be treated really speaks for his character. And yes, he's, a fish out of water. He's this big, nasty ogre. But he goes to this place that he knows he's not going to be liked. He knows they're not going to react to him, but he doesn't drag his feet. He's like, okay, let's go see your parents. And
Mm-hmm.
then when he gets there, yes, there is some conflict, but he tries. He tries to get along with her
Absolutely.
dad. He he drinks a mysterious potion that he doesn't know if it'll kill him or not to
But he's
make
willing
her
to do it for her.
to give her what he thinks she wants.
I'm gonna be honest. Every time I think of Shrek and Fiona, I think of my parents.
Hmm.
Not because of the ogre thing, but just because of like their personalities. Fiona is very headstrong, but she's passionate. She cares about Shrek, and that I see a lot of those qualities in my mom. Whereas my dad, he would go to any lengths for her, like Shrek did for Fiona.
Aww.
So yeah, got a little personal here, but that's that would be that would be the kind of relationship that I would like to have.
I can respect that. Ugh.
Okay, I don't like this, Jay. I'm feeling all warm and fuzzy.
Those are called feelings. They're good for you.
I hate them.
That's okay. The rest of us do too. Now, since you've gotten the last two, I would like to propose my next couple. And
Please
ladies and
do.
gentlemen, there is no doubt in my mind that this isn't one of the greatest couples ever.
Oh, I can challenge that.
Oh, no, you can't. Because when you hear these two names, you're going to be like, done. He wins. Podcast over. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to hit y'all in the feels.
I hate you.
One of the greatest couples of all time, and one of my favorites, Carl and Ellie from Up.
Oh.
And no, ladies and gentlemen,
Damn.
no one is cutting onions in your bedrooms, and no one is cutting onions in your cars. It's the feels from that movie.
That hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That hurt.
As someone who's gone through his own trials and tribulations, to see them stay together through everything that they went through and the lengths that, you know, he went to basically preserve her memory afterwards, make me speechless. Like, I can't even dive into it right now. I can't even pull up the words. But, you know, they push through some of the worst times in their life together. And they have some of the best times of their life together. And I think it's adorable that they got jobs at the same place. Her as a zookeeper, him as a balloon salesman at that same zoo. That is just so emotional. That is the most emotional, like, 5 minutes of any movie, and not a single freaking word is said. And I would say something, but it would kind of spoil a later couple on in this list. So I'm just gonna hold on to that comment, snatch it out of the air, and just tie it down right here. For now. Yep, just tie it down real quick, stow it away, so that when we get to later on in the subject, we can let that fly.
Okay.
Release the pigeons.
You mean release the doves or the kraken?
No krakens will be released on this podcast.
Oh, come on.
My insurance does not cover kraken attacks. I learned that the hard way.
Who unleashed the kraken?
Well,
wasn't me this time.
When you read ancient Latin and you misquote,
it was just the one time.
So, okay. So,
I'm sorry, please.
So I was going to give a small, brief shout out to another favorite couple who I know for a fact is going to make you cheese just a little bit when I say this, okay?
Oh, before you do that, I think that's a good idea. Why don't we kind of cap this section off with, like, our honorable mention couples? And that way we can, and then that way we can start getting into, like, our real...
Ooh, all our bitter hatred?
Yes.
I love that idea. Okay, so I'll finish with this couple, and then we'll go into honorable mentions. I guess technically I could add these guys honorable mentions, but I want to dive into them just a little bit for those of you who don't know. One of my favorite couples, and this isn't technically a movie or TV couple, but an internet couple.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, but they are still technically fictional characters. One of my favorite couples, for those of you who watch Channel Awesome and The Nostalgia Critic, shout out to NC, the man with the glasses. One of my favorite couples is Devil Boner and Hyper Fangirl.
Oh my god, yes!
So, for those of you who don't know, Hyper Fangirl is this parody, I guess is the right word, because I just learned today that Hyper Fangirl is actually a real person, or it's based off a real person. So it is a tribute, I guess, a parody of this one girl who is over the top, super attached to whatever interest there is out there.
So fandom.
Oh, yes. Like when you hear someone say fangirling out, this is this person. Just give them the personality of a squirrel and electrocute them.
Ooh, sounds like a good time.
Like there is an episode where she realizes she's a fan of the Nostalgia Critic. So she kidnaps him.
I remember that.
So, like, that kind of fangirl. And her boyfriend on the show, Devil Boner, that's his name. I can't make that up. Is supposed to be a joke, an amalgamation of all the 80s macho guns and explosion manliness that kind of looks like Mad Max meets Goku.
I was going to say with a hint of the Kiss Army, but that works.
Dresses much like less Mad makeup. Max, the eyeliner of any 80s rock star, and the hair of Goku.
But black.
Pictures will be posted of DB and Hyper later on. But I think those two are adorable. Just some of the funny things that they do together. Like there's an episode where he shows up in a monster truck to pick her up for a date. And he goes, "Come on, babe, let's go to the Pottery Barn." Like, you don't expect that out of a character named Devil Boner. And on top of that, when they do have an issue, they actually seek counseling. Which was like, it was actually very mature of two extremely immature characters. Unfortunately for the Nostalgia Critic, he was kidnapped again.
And he had to be the counselor.
Yes. So, for those of you who want to watch some of this, go to Nostalgia Critic on YouTube. I think it's the Channel Awesome or Awesome Channel.
It's Channel Awesome, and
Awesome.
And they also have different shows and different segments on there.
Yes.
Which, and in addition to that, huge shout out to, I believe it's Tamara Chambers, who plays Hyper Fangirl, and Doug Walker.
Doug Walker, the Nostalgia Critic, who also plays Devil Boner.
Which,
huge shout out to the both of them.
Absolutely. Like, you know what? Huge props to everybody that works on the channel, guys. Seriously, go check them out. You'll get a kick out of it. I know for a fact that Jay and I certainly have.
Definitely. Hashtag not sponsored.
Nope.
But
forever fans.
Oh, yes. Most definitely. All right. So let's do 3 or 4 quick honorable mentions.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I have.
And then we'll dive deep into the dark bowels of terrible fictional relationships.
The only thing though is I'm not gonna announce my best though. We're gonna save like our best and our worst for at the very end.
Oh, I already led with my best. Okay. Well, then we will.
Well, then how about you hurry up and pick a second one, and I
will find some more. But let's go to honorable mentions. Take it away.
Okay, so for my honorable mention couples, I have Albert and Armand from The Birdcage, Nathan Lane and Robin Williams.
Okay.
Again, another over-the-top couple, but for what the movie was, I believe the movie was released in 1996 or 1997. It was just the comedy, it was at a time that where it wasn't kind of going that extra distance yet, but I enjoyed it. A TV couple from The Big Bang Theory, Amy and Sheldon.
I was going to put them on my list, actually. That's a very good, very, very good addition.
Like, that's just, if you watch the show from the beginning, like, up until it ended I think it ended last year, like, you can just see everything that's like how they grew together, and that was beautiful. And then I have just two more. Lucy and Henry from 50 First Dates, Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler.
All right, that's a good one.
And that's actually one rom-com I do not get sick of. And I hate rom-coms. Hate them.
I can actually kind of agree with you on that one.
And last but not least, and I have a feeling so many people would kind of get on my case about this. Princess Leia and Han Solo.
That was definitely going to be on my list.
Sorry.
No worries, but that is a fantastic list.
Well, thank
and
you.
a couple unexpected ones.
Of course.
A couple unexpected ones. Okay.
I mean, just because I'm a horror goddess doesn't mean I can't partake in other medias.
All right. Okay, so with that being said, I have 3 or 4. I'm trying to decide. I think I know my number 1 since I already announced a couple. Sorry.
And it's all right. That was my fault.
But a couple honorable mentions from one of my favorite book series, and unfortunately an underwhelming performed movie from the Mortal Engines series, Hester Shaw and Tom Natsworthy. They start off as enemies. They slowly become reluctant allies, and eventually just fall in love, go on crazy adventures together. They grow old. They have a daughter. It's a fun little, it's a fun romance. And the crazy thing about it is, they didn't do it over the top in the movie, but in the book, Hester has a huge scar across her face, like from the top of her eyebrow down to her chin.
Wow.
And like she looks super like ugly and deformed. And even past that, because there's even a point where, like, I want to say it's either in the second or third book, Tom, she starts off the story wearing like a scarf that covers most of her face. And he like pulls it off, and he's like, "Oh my gosh!" And in the second or third book, she hasn't worn a scarf in so long and he's so used to it that when she puts it back on, he's like, I kind of miss the regular you, which like that part hit me.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool little moment. Number 2, and this is a shout out to my good buddy, my brother from another mother, Tim Russell, Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle, a.k.a. Batman and Catwoman. Yes, they've had their ups and downs, you could say.
Oh, all couples do.
But I truly think that, and they've shown it in a couple of different mediums, that Bruce really cares for Selena, and he really wants what's best for her. Would, give up the life of crime, be with me kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think they're a really good couple, and a couple that, not to jump mediums here, but just so we can get into the good. My last couple, and it's kind of in the middle of the road here because they have good features and they have bad features. But Aladdin and Jasmine.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, those are my honorable mentions.
I don't hate your list.
I appreciate that.
I'm going to be brutally honest. I do not hate that list.
Good.
All right. Now we're getting into the potatoes.
Now here's what you all came for. The worst relationships that we can't freaking stand.
Bingo! There it is. Ding, 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 ding.
Yep. So do you want to start this this madness off, or do you want me to dive straight into this?
I'll let you dive head first, and I'll feast
All
on your
right, here we
corpse.
go. Let's get ready to lose all our viewers. Because
You didn't
I'm
even
going to
catch.
say it. I can't stand this couple, and I will argue all night about whether or not this is a good pick or not. But are we doing least favorites as well as most favorites, or are we just
I figure
diving into the worsts?
we're just diving into like our worsts right now, and then I think at the very end we can talk about like our top favorite and then like our least favorite. Like,
ooh, then maybe I should wait. Maybe I should wait, because this one I can go on and on about.
oh dear.
All right, I will wait. I will wait for that one.
Okay.
Nope,
So
screw it. Here we go. Here we go, because I have another one that can top this list.
oh dear.
Yep. Oh, I have plenty of them, ladies and gentlemen. One of my most hated couples, and here come the unsubscriptions. Jack and Rose from the Titanic.
Someone had to
can't
say it.
stand those two.
Nope, neither
Can't
can
stand
I.
it.
And you know what? I actually had them on my list.
Oh my goodness. Like, okay. I'll break this down. First off, I can understand that there was attraction there. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm not saying that they couldn't have had real feelings for each other. But, that being said, how long do you think, like, a cruise, like a legit cruise ship sailing from England to America, would take to get across the ocean?
Well, the trip was in 1912. Am I correct?
Something like that.
I would what the heck? I would roughly predict it would take anywhere like at least 5 to 7 days, maybe.
Okay.
I'm looking it up right now just to make sure, because we like to fact check. We don't like to give wrong information on this podcast.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking up right now as well, because I found a number that doesn't seem exactly accurate. Okay, so here's a rough number, and we'll find the exact number later. It would have taken roughly 5 to 7 days to get from England to America on a cruise ship, no stops in between.
I can do you one better.
Ooh, do we have an exact number? Go for it.
Titanic's transatlantic crossing from Ireland to New York was to take 137 hours before being cut short. But the route was regularly traveled by ships which could do in 116 hours or 4.8 days, almost 5.
Okay, so 4.8 days.
Roughly 5, because...
Roughly 5 days. We'll give them 5 days.
Yeah. Because, you need the little incidental timing.
A little bit. 5 days. 5 days the ship was out on the ocean. And Jack and Rose met at the end of the first day. So that's like 4.5 days. This woman lived to be like 90 years old. Had a husband, had kids, had grandkids, and yet still harbored true love for this guy she knew for 4 days. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not saying that there isn't an emotional connection, and I'm not saying they probably couldn't have had something, but there is no way that you can develop a lifelong love, quote unquote, in 4 days. There is this magic word and I don't suggest giving it to your children. It's called lust. You can fall in lust with somebody in 4 days. Oh my gosh, she's so attractive. Oh my gosh, he's so attractive. Want to get together? Hell yeah. You can do that. You can do that in less than 4 minutes. It's called Tinder. But there is no way you can develop an 80-year relationship in 4 days. They even show it at the end of the movie. She passes away, I think in her sleep or something. I don't remember because I'm like rage blocking the movie right now. Anyway, calm down, calm down, calm down. There's no way that in 4 days, this woman who passed away when she was 90, she could have been close to 100.
I think she was, because at one point I think she actually held the record for oldest living person.
Had, like, when she passed away, after having a husband and children and grandchildren, thought of Jack and the Titanic.
Wait. Dear listeners, I am seeing a whole new side of Jay that I never knew existed. And quite frankly, it warms my black heart. I can do you one better. Or just as
Here
equal.
we go. Let's do it.
And, this one's older than Jack and Rose.
Oh, dear God.
Romeo and Juliet.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's the Curbside Podcast. We'll see you next week.
And again,
oh my goodness. I know y'all can't see me at home, but I just leapt off the bed and my knee hurts so bad. Ow, 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 ow. Ooh.
Oh.
Continue, please, telling us how terrible of a relationship Romeo and Juliet is, because I can go on for days about this. And before we do go on, I must speak a little bit calmly here. This is not a dig at Leonardo DiCaprio or his acting ability, because he's one of my favorites. He did a fantastic job in both those movies. But the characters, oh boy.
Well, to be fair, around the time Romeo and Juliet was written, it was written by the great William Shakespeare himself.
Yes.
I mean, when you yes, I understand it is a literary masterpiece. It is a great literary work. However, when you get beyond what it is, it's two teenagers who decide they can't. It's like your first ever
live without each other.
Yes, exactly. It's like your first ever essential teenage relationship, where you first fall in love and it's like, oh my God, I can't live without this person. Except that they take it to the next level. They actually die. Like they actually commit suicide for one another.
I will do you one better, my lovely co-host.
Oh, dear Lord.
If you go back, way back to like the first line of the play, Romeo just got out of a breakup with a woman that he swore he could not live without.
I think we're both mind blown right now.
I'm going to calm down now, but you continue. Please, tell us how terrible they are.
That's actually pretty much it. It's almost like for the same reasons that, you had for Jack and Rose. But just you're multiplying it by what feels like a million, again, due to the fact that these are kids, essentially. Kids, kids like teenagers. And granted, they weren't going to live very long anyway because it's like, what, the 1600s or so?
Yeah,
maybe
long life was not a trending fashion of the day.
Nope. So, I don't know. Just it feels like to me like they did not have the maturity, and that pisses me off. Anyway.
People at home can't see it, but I'm shaking my head vigorously up and down. Yes. Yes, a million times yes.
And
Okay.
again, we're not relationship experts. Hell, sometimes, Jay, it doesn't even feel like, we're meant to be in relationships sometimes. You know what I mean?
I can sympathize. I understand what you're saying here. Speaking of not supposed to be in a relationship, let's jump into our next pick. The most codependent person on the planet, and her.
We're going
just
there.
gonna say it.
We're going there.
Freaking sparkling ass boyfriend. Edward and freaking Bella from Twilight.
This makes my skin just curl.
It
like
makes me
crawls.
So angry.
Again, just like, and you pretty much said it, like, here, like, just the level of codependency that exists. Like, you didn't see it so much in the first one, I don't think.
No, the first one was more just an introduction into the world. She finds this mysterious guy
in high school. No less.
Sparkles
when the sun hits him.
Like, I'm gonna try not to keep coming back to that. I'm gonna try.
Just no.
Anyway. No, in the first one, it's less codependency and more like
a fascination.
A fascination, which is okay. I guess the first one wasn't okay. Here we go. Nobody take this out of context, or I swear a vampire will be staked somehow. I don't know. The first movie, or the first book, as far as their relationship, was not that bad. Now, granted, it is the most boring movie I've ever seen in my life. It still holds up to this day, 10 years later. Oh, my goodness.
Is it really?
I believe I watched it in 2009, and I believe it came out before that. So, exactly. Their relationship in the first one wasn't terrible. They were both boring, but it wasn't terrible. The second and forward was atrocious.
I had the most problem with the second movie and the second book because, the codependency and, like, the obsession, like, again, I'm going to liken it to Romeo and Juliet, and, you have that first teenage romance, like that white-hot intensity, and then you break up. And you spend hours, days, weeks, months, like, obsessing, like, trying to get this one person back. And that's kind of what she did.
Yeah. She knew that he... now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I probably am. It's been 10 years since I've seen this stupid movie. Correct me if I'm wrong, but she knows he's watching her. And she decides to hop on this dude's motorcycle, who she doesn't know, and races across this freaking town, city, nightmare Twilight Zone that I couldn't escape in my high school years. You want scary, forget Stephen King. Just watch those movies and all the obsessed fans. That's scary.
Not so much anymore. I mean, when it first started, it was bad.
I meant some circa 2009.
Ew.
Ugh.
That was a bad year. And I think what's worse was she brought her, like, a kid that someone that she knew, like, growing up, she brought him into it. And I think, granted, he's a bit of an idiot, too, for letting himself get involved, but in a sense, he was kind of the smart, like, in a sense, he was the smartest and the dumbest, because it's like, he tried to walk away. He tried to break, like, this cycle.
But he's an idiot and only made things worse.
Yeah. Can we just say they all suck?
Yes. And not literally.
Okay. Now, don't quote me on this, but the last couple that I have on my list to talk about, other than my worst,
Okay.
this might actually look better. I don't know. It's like putting this couple next to Bella and Edward, it might actually make Bella and Edward look a little bit better by comparison.
Okay.
And it's actually hurting me to admit this. My last couple that I want to talk about, Christian Grey and Anastasia Steele from 50 Shades of Grey. I'm sorry, we're gonna get demonetized. Oh, not that we make money anyway, but I fucking hate this. I fucking hated these movies. I fucking hated these books. I actually stopped reading the first book at like chapter 6 or something like that. I hated this. I hated everything about it. Before I start raging and butterflies or something else on my window die tonight.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's a secret that I will never admit again on this podcast. I saw the first 2 movies. And she's right. This relationship is terrible.
Bad.
The fact, not only is he psycho and definitely needs help. Now, granted, whatever you do in your bedroom is between you, your significant other, and
Or
your
the person
shady
that
internet history.
And the person you're consenting with to
Yes,
share.
consent is the key word there, ladies and gentlemen.
Always.
That is between you, them, and your internet history. But this dude had some serious problems. And instead of, I don't know, seeking professional help and like going out of his way to change his lifestyle and getting away from toxic people in his life to be a better person, because he's only, I guess, are we cursing now? Because
Let's do
someone blew up on accident. He's fucking rich. Like, filthy fucking rich. Like I'm gonna buy whatever I want. You couldn't have started a new life somewhere else, away from all these negative people, and like made yourself better, gotten yourself help, found a hobby that didn't involve, basically torture.
And then wait, I'm trying to remember. Was it you that told me like that in one? Because like I said, I quit reading. I didn't get through the books. I didn't watch any of the movies. Was it you that told me that he bought a building?
In the second movie, or the book, or whatever you use as context, she gets a job. He buys the company that she works for and then promotes her so he can spend more time with her. That is fucking psychotic.
Just a little bit.
Also, before we get into our honorable mentions and our top worst picks of all time.
and our best.
And our best.
I'm getting spent.
Yeah, we've been a little bit more excited than our usual podcasts. We've been a little bit more fired up. Ladies and gentlemen, I propose to you this. Because Christian Grey, that's his name, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because Christian Grey is rich, it's a romance book. If he was poor, it'd be an episode of Criminal Minds.
Hey, I've been there. I've seen how some of those people work.
Moving on. Honorable mentions. Let's do it.
I only have one on my honorable mention list.
I have 2, so go for it.
Okay, my honorable mention, and honestly, I debated about them, but it was gonna happen, I think. Satine and Christian from Moulin Rouge.
All right. That's one out of left field, but I can see where you're coming from with it.
Just basically because it's like there's no again, it was like a no communication thing. She's finding out that she's dying. He knows she's a whore essentially. I can't you can't beat around the bush. That's what she was. She was a whore.
Yeah.
And he knew about it and thought, oh, okay, like you're gonna save your building, blah blah blah, whatever. He flips off the fucking deep end at her last performance, throws money at her, and correct me if I'm wrong, she dies at the very end, doesn't she?
Oh, she dies right after.
Oh yeah, because as he's calling her a whore. As he's calling her a whore and throwing money back at her.
She tries to bring him back. He's like, wait, what do you mean you're dead?
Yeah, died of tuberculosis, I believe.
Something of that nature.
Yeah, but it's just
that's a pretty terrible.
Yeah, no, did not like.
All right, well, my 2. Before we get to our top picks of all time. So, gonna start off with an easy one here. Honorable mentions. Belle and the Beast.
Really?
Yes, because Stockholm Syndrome.
I can see it. I can understand it.
Kidnaps her.
Okay, to be fair,
go ahead.
He did not kidnap her. She took her father's place. So technically, she offered her.
Yes, but he could have said, you know what? My bad. I got a little angry. I'm sorry. Both of you just go off. Go away. Just forget you ever saw me. No, he kidnaps her and holds her hostage.
Okay,
and then they
leave out the kidnapping.
Love.
Leave out the kidnapping though, because that's technically not what happened. She stayed and he held her hostage.
Okay,
but it was not kidnapping.
Hostage.
Yes.
She is imprisoned, and just because Stockholm Syndrome is a thing, and also because he's rich,
are we sensing a theme here?
Fall in love. Yeah. Tale as old as time, my ass.
Oh, I cannot wait until we do a Disney episode.
And my final honorable mention. And this one, I feel like there's a connection between these characters. And it's just the way that they are portrayed. Portrayed. In the movies, at least. I need to finish watching the TV show, and I apologize to everyone that I haven't finished watching the TV show when I say this. But as far as the movies go, it is a horrible relationship that should have never existed. Padme and Anakin. From Star Wars.
Again.
Padme Amidala and Anakin Skywalker. Because first off, it starts off when she's like 15 and he's like 8.
Yeah, that could be a problem.
Yeah. Then he slowly becomes a creepy, obsessive teenage boy who's going through a lot in his life. So I don't think a relationship with this girl is such a good idea. And then he just acts literally psycho in episode 2 and 3. And there's just a lot of red flags that he throws up that she should have been like, and security. But she's like, no, he's a tortured soul and I understand him.
Oh my god, why does this sound so familiar?
Right? Now, again, I have not finished the Clone Wars series, and I am sorry to all of my Star Wars fans. I'll explain on a later date when we do a Star Wars episode why, but let's just say timing. I mistimed watching the Clone Wars. However, I do have Disney Plus, so I'm getting caught up while I'm having surgery. So I don't know how the Clone Wars portrays the two of them together. But I do know in the movies, there are so many red flags to this relationship that it should not have been a thing, and yet it was.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Coming from someone who's never really watched Star Wars, I can see where you're coming from.
All right. So what I suggest, since we're getting into the twilight of the cast here, we do our least favorite couples of all time, and then we'll end on a high note with our favorite couples of all time.
I agree, because I think we kind of need to go out on a high note.
Yes, we've had a lot of negative ranting tonight. Let's go out some positivity.
Oh, so do you want to do it, or would you like me to do it?
Do we have the same couple?
Doubtful.
Oh, okay. Well then, I will go first.
Go right ahead.
Dishonorable mention, the number one worst couple of all time. And not only is it a worst couple, but so many people romanticize this relationship that it drives me up a wall.
Oh god, I think I know who you're gonna say.
Probably should. Ladies and gentlemen, the Joker and Harley Quinn are the worst couple of all time. Stop saying he's my Joker and I'm his Harley Quinn.
Bad. Bad. Bad, bad, bad. That
Stockholm Syndrome, physical abuse, mental abuse, possibly sexual abuse.
I don't know. That's borderline.
I said
borderline
possible.
At best.
That one has less behind it.
Less implication for it.
But let's not even dive into some of the dark comic book stuff, like I don't know, locking Harley in a room filled with a bunch of dead women dressed as Harley. That's a thing.
Yeah, I know. That's a heavy thing.
Let's not even dive into the comics at the worst things that they've ever done. Let's watch the cartoons.
Yes, that's probably some of the worst.
One of the best episodes I've ever seen to this day is Batman is kidnapped by Harley Quinn. I don't remember how.
Wait, I think I know what episode you're talking about. Is it Mad Love?
No. Mad Love is her origin story.
I was going to say.
So there is an episode in which Harley Quinn successfully captures the Batman, and she is going to give Batman to Joker as the best Valentine's present of all time. Look what I caught for you. Your arch nemesis. Don't you love it? And what does Joker do?
Doesn't he throw her out a window?
Punches her in the face.
I thought he threw her out a window.
I'm pretty sure she ends up through a window somehow at the end of this episode. But instead of going, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you, thank you for understanding what I want, he abuses her and says, only I can catch Batman.
Uh-huh.
And after all of this, all of this physical abuse. She goes back to her cell, done with the Joker, done with Mr. J. I never want to see him again. And there's a love note and a flower that says, I'm sorry, from Puddin'.
Yep.
And she
and
falls
starts
right
all over
back
again.
in. God damn it.
And what's worse, she was a psychiatrist.
She is a doctor. She's
Yeah.
supposed to be smart.
Honey, I've worked with a bunch of doctors. Not all of them are smart. And that's not discrediting, because there are some wonderful doctors out there. But I get where you're coming from.
I know there are wonderful doctors because one of them's about to look at my knee come Wednesday morning. So
exactly. And make a couple little incisions.
He's the best doctor I've ever met, and I hope he's not listening.
We can only be so lucky.
Or I hope he is listening so he can hear me putting him over, because he's going to fix my knee and get me back in that ring.
Amen, brother.
All right. So I've gotten off my soapbox and finished my Pop-Tart rant.
So good. Is it my turn now to push you down a couple flights of stairs?
Yep. Who is the worst couple of all time to you?
In my opinion. Again, everything that we've talked about today has just been strictly our opinions. So agree with it, disagree with it, that's fine. But when it comes to these two, they combine the boringness of Bella and Edward, the stupidity of Satine and Christian, and maybe a little bit of the darkness of Christian and Anna. We get the absolutely worst couple of all time. Katniss Everdeen and Peeta Mellark from the Hunger Games.
Damn. Shots fired.
Now, I've read the book.
I gotta hear your explanation for this.
And you're going to, if you just shut up for a minute. Okay. Again, I've read the books. I know the premise of the story. For those who haven't, you have these like colonies or sections or sectors, and then everyone has a certain something that they're responsible for, like grain growing. One does grains, one is animals, so on and so forth. It's like I don't even know how to explain it, because it's not really like a utilitarian ship, but
totalitarian.
Thank you.
No worries.
See, this is what I like about Jay. He knows where I'm getting at with things. Well, every year, all these sectors or sections select like a boy and a girl to represent their part in this tournament of death, essentially called the Hunger Games. And that means if you win for your group or for your sector or anything, you get a lot of benefits for the year. And
I think it's possibly life.
Oh, for life?
I think so. It's supposed to be for life.
Well, I think for the winners it's for life, but like for their entire colony, it's like for the year.
Right. So they're in the most dangerous episode of Survivor of all time.
Oh yeah, it's like Lord of the Flies is kind of too. But you have to Survivor meets Lord of the Flies, because I don't think in Survivor you're trying to kill one another.
No.
And anyway. Katniss, and in the beginning, I liked Katniss because, it was her sister Primrose, and it was her mother, and you don't really see like groups of strong women characters in writing. So at first, I didn't hate it, and then but she was just kind of boring to me. And then you throw in this other kid, Peta, who they're both going into the games with, and then they try like at the end of the first book, like they start like trying to concoct or force like this romance to essentially save their ass. I didn't hate that part, but it was like the way they just kind of kept like Peta kept trying to play into it, like kind of kept pushing and pushing this relationship, and Katniss wanted nothing to do with it, but essentially she's just kind of forcing herself to go along with it. And it's just like, for survival, okay, I kind of get it, but it's like, I don't know. I think there might be some anger bias toward this, because when I finished the series, it was 7 o'clock in the morning after I worked a midnight shift, and I was just pissed off at the world. But for me, I did not like these two together at all.
I can sympathize. All right. Well, let's go out on a high note here.
Oh, wait. Who? Oh, you already did your worst couple.
Yep. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, please, give me a high note.
So I'm going to end on a high note because I already had a whole rant about one of my favorites, but a underrated relationship that not a lot of people talk about. And it really kind of drives home, self-sacrifice. As much as these two characters love each other, they know that they're kind of stuck in their place of duty, and they want to be together, but they have to do what is right for everybody. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Captain America and Peggy Carter.
Oh my God! Okay, I like this. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, very impressed. Like, I was so not expecting that one.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, is it my turn?
Yes.
All right. Again, this is another like unexpected left field couple, but the first time I watched them together, like my heart just, I felt everything for this couple. And again, when they say, kind of similar to how you were talking about Carl and Ellie, till death do us part, I feel the same way about these two. And it was literally till death do we part. Rocky Balboa and Adrian from the Rocky series. Like, I have so much love for these two, and again, like, she supported him with all of his fighting, even though she may not have liked it. She still loved him enough. I mean, in the fourth movie, she went to freaking Russia.
In the 80s, ladies and gentlemen. That's not a usual trip when you go.
Mm-hmm. And she said, I couldn't stay away. I'm with you no matter what. That one, and then actually again and this was in Rocky too. After she had given birth to the couple's son, and she had some medical complications, so I think she slipped into a coma or something. He would go and sit with her every night, and then when she woke up, he was leaning over her hospital bed, and he just smiled. He's like, I knew you'd come back.
Now that's wonderful.
And it's actually making me a little teary-eyed. God, I hate feelings. Gee, I hate you. Why the hell did we do this?
This was your idea, if I remember correctly, so.
Oh, bite me. But, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, we definitely went very hot and heavy for our early Valentine's episode.
Yes. It's probably the most exciting episode of the Curbside Podcast thus far. especially with me ranting and raving over here like a madman.
Oh, a monster fuel madman at that.
That is true.
But again, just to kind of recap the next week, I might be checking in on a solo mission. So
I'm gonna try my best not to leave everyone out in the dust as far as my recovery. I might not get to be on the podcast, or maybe we'll just make Adventures of Britt its own little playlist on YouTube. But I have surgery this week, so I hope you guys are. I hope you guys are gonna miss me for a couple days, because I'm definitely gonna miss all of you.
yes, please keep good thoughts with Jay. Because if not, I might have to crawl through your drains tonight, or watch you outside sitting from the tree while you sleep.
And on that note, I'm gonna go pour some salt in front of my front door.
Oh yeah, the circle of salt. Okay, the circle of salt might keep witches away, but it doesn't do anything for demons.
I believe there are two brothers that drive a Chevy Impala that would strongly disagree with you. But that is for another time, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, I would love to meet them. But Jay,
I bet you would.
Actually, before we go,
Okay.
I have a question for you.
I hopefully have an answer.
So, do you have a Valentine?
I do.
Wonderful.
Do you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, but mine is of the four-legged variety.
Oh.
But in all seriousness, though, I do. And we're gonna be spending our Valentine's Day being a little creepy.
I would expect nothing less from my master of the macabre.
Of course not.
But thanks for joining us. Happy Valentine's Day. Thanks for coming curbside with us. We'll see you guys next time.
Beware and take care, my little ghouls and goblins.